All right, excellent afternoon to those who are watching us across the states in Nigeria. I say our political leaders will know our priorities only if we tell them again and again. And if those priorities began to show up in the polls, then I think it's time for us to talk about it. The citizens will continue to clamor based on their priorities, and of course the political actors, will have no other choice but to concede only when they know that it remains a priority for those who voted them in. Again, I say welcome to another interesting episode of Real Talk with Kike. I remain your convener, Kike Atanda-Owo, and of course I have one of the co-hosts right here with me. I say, afternoon, how you doing, Marshall? What does that mean?
I'm feeling like Abu Hawk. Yes, guys, it's the RTWK show. My name is Marshall Anthony Ononya. I am the house husband, as they call me. Kike Atanda-Owo is our chief host. Today is going to be interesting. You don't want to miss this one for anything in the world.
All right. So exactly 2 years ago, Nigeria's police chief announces the dissolution of SARS after days of widespread demonstration against police brutalities. And I say, I think it's important for us to get more on this industry segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Exactly a year ago, Nigeria's police chief announces the dissolution of SARS after days of widespread demonstrations against police brutalities. Mohammed Adamu, Inspector General of Police, says the unit will be abolished with immediate effect, a decision made in response to the yearnings of the Nigerian people. All SARS officers, he says, will be redeployed to other police commands, formations and units. Nevertheless, demonstrators pledged to keep up their campaign seeking justice for victims of police brutality and an overhaul of the security apparatus.
Right, on this day initial segment, Marshall, let me come to you quickly. What's your take on it? Knowing that, Solu almost said something regarding the End SARS movement during his rally. Let's start from there. What's your take on it thus far?
Well, I do not know what MC Oluomo did say, but I know a lot about what the police said and what the IGP did. And since the disbanding of the NSAS in 2020, there's been so much talk about whether it was being resurfaced or whether it was being reestablished. And that has been a controversy that I think that we need to nip in the bud, because some persons from different quarters have tried to use that to foment trouble, to say, look, the police lied to us that you're going to disband SARS with the NSAS protest, at the wake of the NSAS protest, and they seem to be wanting to put it up. The PPRO of the police had at several times come up to say, look, SARS has been brought to a total halt, and there is no intention whatsoever to bring it up under any guise. SARS has been ended, and this brings to mind, it's 2 years now since that that story broke about NSAS, and in no distinct time on the 20th of this month, the people would want to have a commemoration of the October 20 toll gate killing and all of that. But we really need to put the minds of the people, the populace, at rest, to say, look, the police is your friend, truly your friend, working for your protection. Remember, Kike, at the wake of that NSAS protest, when the police cleared from the roads and the stations, the crime rate was, skyrocketed, it spiked. And that brought to mind what the police does for the people, protection of life and property. They are here to serve and protect. So for once, guys, let's give it to the police. Let's give them what they deserve, their respect and honor, and the opportunity to do their duty. NSAS is ended already, or rather, SARS is ended already. So let's not talk about NSAS again.
All right, many thanks for that submission. For me, the fact that, you know, I'm a daughter of a policeman, my father retires as a DIG in this country, which I feel that it should be among those national honors right now. But that's another story for another day. However, you know, talking about, you know, let me start from what you said at the beginning of your submission, which is about what MC Oluomo said. MC Oluomo actually itemized about 5 pointers saying that, you know, you said people that were killed at the toll gates. He is of the opinion that nobody was killed. We are the family members. Are they not related to somebody? You know, why would, is it possible for you to silence Nigerian's parents? And a whole lot was said during his rally. And I felt that, you know, that right now was insensitive of him. But, you know, my take thus far on this day segment is the fact that it's about a fight to a fight that was positive in terms of police brutality, you know, to a good degree. Let me use that word. You know, it has reduced to drastically and all of that. And I feel that the youth, they clamored for, you know, the solution of the NSAS, and yes, it happened, it was successful, but there's a section of the police force right now that I feel that, you know, is not sitting well with the people, hence the reason why some of the issues that came up actually took place. So I'm asking, people are still making false statements, just like you see how MC Oluomo came out, you know, and I'm wondering, is this the right time for us to be doing that? If you want to protest, you know, if you want to support your party and the likes, I know you can so do it without not sabotaging the people, you know. And I know that, you know, in every industry there are bad eggs, and just like in the oil industry as well, you know, there are a lot of bad eggs in terms of selling our petroleum and the likes and all of that. So I just feel that, you know, all of this, you know, the backlash is unnecessary, and for us to keep, you know, opening wounds at this period is so unnecessary, and we all need to be sensitive and have empathy. Empathy is the word that I want to put out there on this day news segment. I think on this note, you know, we'll go on a quick break. All right, many thanks for staying with us. Many have been asking questions about what APC, when will there be campaign, when will campaign team be known, who and who makes the list, to ensure Nigerians that the APC campaigns are doing their bit immediately after the arrival of the presidential candidate on Friday, 8th of October, and activities and plans have been unveiled. Just yesterday, the APC, that's what's it called? The APC progressive candidate Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the vice presidential candidate Senator Kashim Shettima, the party national chairman Senator Abdullahi Adamu, of course, and the DG PCC and others arrived at the State House to inaugurate the APC Women Presidential Campaign team. And likewise, along the line of development, you know, APC rallies have started holding since last week. The women had their rallies, the transportation or transport union also had theirs, and even the charter of some actors and artists in Nigeria have also begun their rallies as well. And 1 million march or 2 million march or whatever analysis that comes from that march actually also took place over the weekend. And on the show today, we will be interviewing a prominent member of the APC Council team. He is the Director of Public Affairs and Chief spokesperson APC Presidential Campaign Council. He will join us to discuss, you know, the developments in the party as well as the campaign atmosphere of other parties along the line of preparation of INEC for the 2023 election. I think it's time for me to hold my breath. Let's get a quick look at our guest profile. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, many thanks for staying with us. Again, let me welcome our Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Festus Kihamo. Many thanks for joining us via Zoom link. How are you doing today, sir?
I can hear you very loud and clear.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. We've been having audio issues, yeah. All right, quickly, let's just go straight to the topic at hand, knowing that, we've lost a bit of time right now. APC had a slow start. Let me start from there in terms of your recent interview last week, and I would like to liken it to also 2019 that led you to victory. Apart from the inauguration of the women campaign team, what are the updates from your party in terms of unveiling the campaign program, and how do you think that you will gain the same momentum as you did in 2019, considering that your counterparts have gone way ahead?
Well, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, sir.
Right. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Excellent afternoon.
The APC is a massive party. The APC is the governing party. So you expect that you have more entrenched interests, more diverse interests in the APC. And so before we hit the streets, we need to take into consideration all of these diverse interests. Synchronize interests, make sure everybody is in harmony before we go before Nigerians. We are not like the other party that left his house burning and decided to start his campaign yesterday. We are not like that party. So we are a very disciplined party, and we also have at the helm of affairs within our party a sitting president who has a presidential diary. He's the chairman of the campaign council, and we have to take his presidential diary into consideration. Now, I gave this example elsewhere before, that it's like when you want to maneuver a 50-ton trailer onto the highway. It's not the same thing or the same procedure you use when you want to start off a small engine car, one of these small cars, or a saloon car onto the highway. A 15-ton trailer needs a lot of careful planning, a lot of maneuvering before you can maneuver it onto the highway. That, I think, is what we are going through. And there's a bit of historical incident behind this. In 2019, remember, the INEC lifted its ban on campaigns on November 18, 2018. We inaugurated our campaign council on January 7, 2019, which was about 50 days later. And the moment we inaugurated our campaign council, we hit the street. And that back-to-back momentum every day, it was a day-to-day campaign. That back-to-back momentum swept us into the polls and, swept us to victory. So I think Nigerians should be patient. We have enough time. We are planning carefully. We have also started off a bit of some activities here and there. You saw the women wing inaugurated yesterday or 2 days ago. Okay, that was yesterday. That was a wonderful event. You saw the fervor, the passion, the electricity in the air. You also saw a bit of the, street walks we have organized in Gombe, in Lagos, in Kwara, in Ibadan, and some other places. So we're just testing here and there, but very soon Nigerians will hear from us loud and clear.
I hear you loudly and very clearly, Senior Advocate. I would say I like the fact that you seem to praise your party so well, even citing that you have a sitting president. I do hope that we would hear more of these kind of comments, and you taking the party, taking the glory of the good, the bad, and the ugly as well of this administration when you speak of this party and what it's done. But my question will be directly about your principal, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, if you consider him a Democrat, because the last I checked, democracy is it's a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And if you check, with Nigeria having a demography of 50% Christians, the issue of Muslim ticket does not come to me like a democratic way of doing things. How do you plead?
Well, we keep going back to this subject, but I think we have moved on from this subject. For us, it is just a strategy to win an election. We are not denigrating anybody. We are not undermining any group. We are not disrespecting any religious group. We just want to win. And after winning, we can then bring everybody on board. But we have to win an election first. I made this point before, and nobody has replied me till today. I made the point that the vice president, if you want to balance power between a Muslim and a Christian, you should not be looking at the age of the vice president, because the vice president does not balance power with the president. I've made this point over and over again. Nobody has replied me. They just kept going on Muslim, 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 Muslim.
I hear you, sir. You know, before I ask my question, let me quickly put this out there to all those who are watching us across the states that we have. There's a bit of network issues between us and, of course, our guests. So hence the reason why we are not able to see his video right now and we can listen to him in terms of audio. But quickly, sir, with what you've shared thus far, I want to quickly ask you, you know, PDP seems to have resolved...
The president can give him any kind of assignment.
All right.
Hello?
Hello, yeah. Can you hear me, sir?
So, we made that point. Another point we have to also make is that Nigeria, if the fear is that, well, by having a Muslim ticket, you want to Islamize Nigeria. I want to say that that is completely impossible. Because by virtue of our constitution, it is clearly stated there in section 10 that Nigeria is a secular state. They don't use the word secular there, but they just said no tier of government shall adopt any religion as a state religion. So it is there. Nobody can subvert that. By the time you swear in the governor of Osun State, you have to have 20 Christian governors, 16 Muslim governors. There's no way that those assemblies under Christian governors, in a bid to change the constitution, will support, you know, any amendment to foist a particular religion on Nigeria. So I think we should be rest assured. People are just using it for political ends. A Muslim ticket had won presidency in this country before. Many tiers of government in this country, state governments, are Muslim. Many are Christian tickets. It doesn't affect the development of those states. So I don't see why grown men should be seated together like they did earlier this week. Grown men who are desirous of the progress of this country, they sit down in a room and they want to discuss the leadership of this country in 2023. And the first thing they put on the table is, what is the religion of the person? Instead of, what is the track record person? Grown men, patriots. The first thing they put on the table is religion. No, that is wrong. I don't think we have passed that conversation already. We are prepared to go to the field and take and get the consequences of our choice. We are prepared to do that. All
right, SAN, many thanks for your submission. I understand what you're saying in terms of capacity. Capacity should be concentrated upon, not the fitness or the Muslim ticket. But quickly, before I ask you my question, I really want to put it out there for those who are listening to us or who are watching us across the states that we have network issue. Hence the reason why we cannot see the video, we cannot view our guest at the moment, but we can hear his voice. But sir, with all that you've shared thus far, you know, I need to bring you up to speed, understanding that PDP seems to have resolved their major challenges. I would like to use the word challenges, and they are looking strong, so to speak. So for APC, you know, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is back, but there are a lot of backlog of issues, you know, to be cleared. How is APC, I need to ask you, sir, resolving its issues, considering the fact that, you know, there is contention on the list in terms of Senator Adamu right now, the party national chairman, who withdrew? What's your take on this?
Well, I don't know where they are making up these stories from. You see, at times, people are just wishing, you know, some crisis on the party that does not exist. People are just wishing crisis on our party. That there's no such crisis in the party. What you have within our party is what a sweet-headed campaign council like other parties are doing. You saw them, they launched their campaign yesterday. Your 5 governors were not there. In our case, everybody wants to get in. So if I remember my literature very well, I think that's what they call oxymoron. It's an oxymoronic, headache, where you say sweet headache. It's sweet headache. So in our case, you have a situation where everybody is passionate about the party. Everybody loves the party. They love the candidate. They want to get into the campaign council at all costs. They want to work for his victory. So that is what we are facing. Well, no, that's not a crisis. It's not a crisis. It's just a sweet headache. And we are trying to resolve it because another list is coming out in the next few days that will be more inclusive, that will bring everybody on board. And for me, so long as you carry a card of APC, you are a registered member of APC, you are in the campaign council. You are in the campaign council on your streets, you are the campaign council around your ward, you are the campaign council around your unit. For some of us, we just have title at the federal level. We are still going to go back to our states to campaign and seek for votes. The votes are not in Abuja. The votes are right there at the unit level in our states. So for us, there's no crisis. We are not dancing. We are not dancing at just on the streets. They paint them, they sweet us. We know they do that. We don't do that. We are united. We are cohesive. And we are ready to hit the streets as a united party.
The street, and I want to use your word right now because you are talking about sweet headache. The National Working Committee, that's NWC of the ruling party right now, APC, has cautioned political appointees on the platform of the APC not to, play hide and seek about their political standing and their references. And at the moment, I think one of the people I would like to reference is Chris Ngige, Senator Chris Ngige. He has been on this platform before as well, and some other members in the party failing to publicly, align their choice of presidential candidates, since we are talking about sweet headache. So my question now is, could Senator Chris Ngige be the new Wike of APC? I'm just asking in pain, what's your party doing in terms of addressing some of these members that their undertone is not welcoming in the public space? What's your take on this?
As far as I'm concerned, there's nobody within the APC that has come out to say they are working against the party. You may be distracted by other assignments, you may be passive. That's not the same thing as working against the party. You have other parties where people are singing and dancing on the road, working against their party, giving them conditions for support. Nobody has done that in our party. So I think all the comments I have up to for now, we are not in that mold of people, working against our party openly. No, they may be passive, they may be distracted by other assignments, they may be concentrating on that assignment, but we have enough arsenal to go to the field and win elections.
Many thanks on that. We'll go on a quick break to get a word from our sponsors. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. Hi, glad to know you're still with us. In case you just joined today's show, today's conversation is about the APC trying to put their house in order in terms of preparation and all. And of course, we've been talking to SAN Festus Keyamo. He's been throwing a lot of light on some of the internal challenges and of course the way forward in terms of preparation towards 2023. Remember that you can be part of this conversation by calling the studio number 080-988-77400 showing on your screen right now. And of course we are streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube page, both on Real Talk with Kike platform and of course on Silverbird platform. Sir, I would have liked to move on to the legality related issues right now regarding the PDP contending that of Tinubu and Obi, and talking about if they are qualified to protest in 2023 presidential election or not, that with Musari and of course Okukpe saying all of this as a representative running mate under section 185 and of course section 82 of electoral laws, which are being quoted. But now that I know that the court has presided over this case, I saw it before coming onto the show this afternoon, I feel that it might not be necessary for me to also bring that on board. But quickly, Senator Dino Milai, says that the PDP candidate is the only one known in all the three all the 36 states of the federation, it is on record that their presidential candidate and his vice are yet to visit the East. Many see this as a, would I say, reflection of marginalization, and that the East shouldn't also expect much from APC, knowing that, you know, your candidate right now is yet to visit quite a number of places, or have not visited the East, and even if they come into power, that they might not be able to, they shouldn't expect much from the APC party. What are your comment on this based on what Dino Milan put out there?
Well, all that is just cheap political talk. Very unfortunate. The campaigns have not started. Our candidates will visit all the 36 states. In many cases, we will visit some states twice. I can tell you that. We have started planning in that regard. So there's no question about alienating any part of the country now. Campaigns have not started. Campaigns have not started. So what is the basis upon which someone will say that our candidate has not visited a certain part of this country? I think that is just cheap political talk. But moving on from there, he's claimed that it's only his candidate that is known in all the 36 states. Well, since you have brought that into the discussion now, let me talk about that a bit. This is a candidate that has nothing to sell, absolutely nothing. He has not held any position in this country in public office where he was in charge. Even when he was vice president, he spent his 8 years undermining his boss, fighting him, trying to topple him, seizing political structures here and there. And then now he wants to not claim the achievement, his so-called achievement of his boss. It is not like you have achievements of your own. You are saying it is Obasanjo Atiku regime. What's the meaning of Obasanjo Atiku? It's either you are in charge, you are not in charge. It's not like our ticket where you have governor, you have a presidential candidate and a vice presidential candidate who have both been governors, who have both been senators, who have been in charge at one point or the other, you know, over a tier or a very critical tiers of government. Lagos and Borno states were not easy states to govern. Shetima governed Borno during the time, it's like a war economy he presided over. And of course, you know, Lagos is a mini Nigeria. So, how can you then compare Atiku Abubakar to these gentlemen? How? In our ticket, we have two for the price of one. Atiku Abubakar cannot claim to have the kind of managerial experience that our candidates have. They cannot claim to have it. So for Dino Melaye or one of his spokesmen to now begin to compare Atiku to our candidates is like comparing night and day. It's not possible. As to whether he's known in 36 states or 15 states or 20 states, they will understand in 2023 who is more known, who has more structures. You don't win elections really by saying that every household knows you. You win an election by structures, by the structures that are campaigning and rooting for you. Don't forget that during our primaries, there was a move to cede our ticket or zone it to the north. It was the same northern governors that said, no, take it to the south. We don't want this ticket here. We want to unify this country. We want this country to be together. How patriotic can a set of governors be? Whereas you had a situation in PDP where they breached their own constitution, flouted their own constitution, betrayed the regions that have been so loyal to them since 1999, which is what made Peter Obi live in anger. Left PDP in anger. The Southeast have been so loyal, devoted to the PDP, voted PDP night and day, rain and sun. Since 1999, they betrayed them. Took it back to the same north that has ruled for nearly 8 years now, without a sense of balance in this country between north and south.
Fantastic.
All
right. I guess we lost the caller. We had a caller that was calling from Edo State, but you know, Marshall, go on quickly.
Okay, I would just to note that I will disagree with our senior advocate of Nigeria there, where he said that we're not talking about the people. It's not sellable when you say that the entire household in Nigeria know you, but what should be sellable is the structure. I beg to differ in that, because what makes up the structure is
come here and I go there. If you want to make comments, my brother, you better come here. Then I ask questions, because you're asking questions. You are disagreeing with me like a co-guest. You're not a co-guest. Ask your questions.
Very well then.
With me.
Very well then. I would have asked you what makes up the structure, if not the household and the people who know you in those households. But let's go ahead. Let's talk manifesto, sir. The World Bank and the OECD has said corruption is one of Nigeria's biggest problems. Would like to know how, talking manifesto now, without sounding too politically ambiguous, how would your principal deal with the issue of corruption?
Well, I don't want to take the thunder away from my principal. He's going to present his manifesto to Nigerians in a few days' time. I know, Kike and yourself, you want some expo, but I'm not going to give you expo. So we will address that when the manifesto is being presented. But however, as APC as a party itself, under the platform under which Asiwaju is running his campaign, we have put some measures in place in the last 7 years to fight corruption in public office. The single treasury account that the Buhari administration insisted on implementing, even though the idea was developed during the time of Jonathan, but they didn't have the political will to implement it to the letter. But the single treasury account is one of the biggest factors that fights corruption, because you have a situation where everything comes to the federation account. Every single penny that is paid to government is no longer domiciled within the MDAs, where they can spend it the way they like and then give their change to the federal government and pay to the federation account. Now you have everything coming to the federation account, and then you now have everything going through strict budgetary process before funds are released to MDAs or any branch of government. So that's, of course, reduced corruption to a very significant level in government, and so many other factors that we put in place. We have also reviewed taking to court people within government who have been caught to have been involved in corruption. The fact that you catch people and you expose them does not mean that, oh, it's an indices that the government is corrupt. There's no government, I can assure you that is voted into government that you will not have corrupt people inside.
Let me come in, sir. Yeah, can you hear me? Are you there, sir? Can you hear me, sir? All right, fantastic. You know, you've shared a lot right now, and I really want to, you know, bring you up to speed in terms of the odds that are against your party regarding or considering the statistics on insecurity, unemployment, you know, foreign exchange, you know, external debt, you know, foreign reserve as well, and of course inflation. And that is the campaign strategy that have been used by your political adversaries, if you ask me. So my question to you right now, sir, is how do you want to win the faith of Nigerians in 2023? What step-by-step approach do you want to use to address all of these issues?
Let's start from inflation. We want to patiently explain to Nigerians that the inflationary trend you see today is a global phenomenon. That's what we want to explain to them. I want to also explain to them that it could have been worse, what they see today in terms of inflation. And I'm saying that with all sense of respect. Well, I'm not saying it with any sense of arrogance. I'm saying it with even all sense of apologies, even to the Nigerians, that even at this point, it could have been worse. Because global trends show that whereas, you know, the biggest countries in the world, and, you know, they are facing 40-year high inflation, 40-year high inflation. Just fact checkers, just go to Google and check. UK is facing a 40-year inflation. Many parts of Europe, the US, they are facing it for the first time in history. So you now have a situation where two major factors, which are the COVID-19 lockdowns and its aftermath, and of course the Russia-Ukrainian war, has pushed so many countries to this edge. Now we are doing, in Nigeria, we're doing about 19% in terms of our inflation. And that number, to be honest again, is expected to rise when the MBS brings out its figures again. It's going to rise to about 20-point-something%. However, if you look at the whole of the world, and in terms of the percentage in the last 2 years by which inflation has risen in different countries of the world. Now, take note. Don't misquote me to say that I am talking about the actual figures of inflation. No, I'm talking of the percentage of increase, inflationary trend. Ours is one of the lowest so far in terms of the movement upwards. Some people have done we have done as far as 50%, 80%. Ours is very, very low. We have done about 5-6% increase in terms of inflationary trend. Now, what has contributed to this in our lower movement? Now is because early enough we identified the fact that we have to be self-sufficient in food production. And so we went into things like rice production, agricultural produce, and so many other agricultural produce that has stemmed the inflationary trend. Because you see, the prices of food is a major component of inflation, the food prices. So it could have been worse when we had been importing rice, for example. If we had been looking for dollars at this time of dollar scarcity to import rice, you can imagine the kind of mess we would have been by now. So to that extent, it's a global trend. We are going to patiently explain to the electorate because we are not taking them for granted. We're also going to encourage them to call their relatives, pick their phone. Those who cannot even go to internet, pick their phone and call their relatives in the Europe, in UK, in the US, and say, brother, sister, what did they happen for there? How prices be? How the situation be? How gas price be? How diesel price? They will tell them, say, now the same thing they happen for here, or men are not they complain for that side. Now the same problem we get for here. We will tell them to do that. Many of them have relatives abroad. So we are not going to allow the opposition get away with those rhetorics. They are just campaigning on a very lazy note. Now, I want to explain this again. Now they say there have been movement of prices. Oh, well, the same price when we handed over Nigeria in 2015, it's not the same type. It's not the same prices we are seeing now in 2022. And so many of them, they even taunt us to say, just take Nigeria back to 2015 and hand over back to us. Take Nigeria back to the situation of 2015. But let me explain. When they also came in 1999, were prices the same prices when they handed over in 2015? So there has always been movement of prices all over history. Prices always move.
All right,
it is not a campaign point to say prices moved. If not, it would mean that since 1960, Kike, every single regime that came after another one has been worse than the other because of prices.
All right, fantastic.
Consider also the rise in minimum wage. When PDP left in 2015, what was the minimum wage? Minimum wage was 18,000.
Right.
Now, we raised minimum wage to 30,000. Consider that also.
All right, fantastic analysis right there. But quickly, I really want to ask you this last question, and I will appreciate if you can answer me in 2 minutes because I know we are running out of time. And an angle that I feel that we've not been able to touch or we are not talking about is that of INEC. At the moment, they are trying to ensure that political parties are within that ambit of the electoral laws, and President Buhari also promised that there will be free and fair transition in 2023 at the, I think, the 77th United Nations General Assembly that in New York that he attended. Do you think that your party, or do you think that let me readjust my question? Do you think that parties, will conform with the INEC in 2023 and will not set up chaos and confusion of rigging after the results?
Well, you see, unfortunately, people, when they just talk of rigging, they always think it's ruling party that they are talking about. No, it affects everybody. Everybody must comply. It is not only the ruling party that has the propensity to rig elections. No, in the Osun election that just held, we supposedly lost, at least before the tribunal will intervene, because we're in the tribunal, we don't know which way the decision will go. But we lost, supposedly in Osun State. And the revelation was coming out of the tribunal now, and so you followed what is going on in Osun. The revelation was coming up now is, without preempting the tribunal, shows that a certain party that is not the ruling party were the ones who have found to have returned figures that were more than registered voters in units. How did that happen? If not by rigging. That is what is happening in Osun State right now. So people should not always think in their head that once you say rigging, it is ruling party. No. So we all have a duty to comply with electoral laws. And I'm sure you know that with all the measures INEC has put in place, you can be sure that we are going to have a much more improved electoral process. I am confident, I am very sure that we are going to have an election that is far better than the ones we had before. We keep improving. I am confident about that.
All right, fantastic. Many thanks again for coming on the show. It's been an interesting time with you today. And quickly, we are going into the last segment. I know that we don't have much time, but we'll touch on just one trending stories. And the first trending story that we'll be touching about the passengers that are stranded at Lagos-Ibadan bound train that developed faults. But quickly, let me quickly say this, because I know that, or Marshall, quickly, what's your take on this in 30 seconds?
Well, it didn't develop fault. It actually ran out of gas. They said it ran out of diesel. And it only tells, somebody tweeted and said, what a great nation. I mean, how can you have an interstate facility like that run out of its own fuel? And here we are talking about the light rails. Very fantastic ideas. We hope that when these trains come, we won't have them stopping across the states and their high towers and their high rails.
Fantastic. I just feel, for me, it's rather strange that reports like this are frequent in Nigeria, and I'm asking myself, especially on this particular report, and there was a tweet that was put out there, I think at about 8:12 a.m. on October 10th, you know, saying that it's now 8:31 a.m. and that the train has stopped twice, you know, and the current explanation is that some still part of the rails, you know, were tracked and have been removed, so to speak, you know. And this is a thing that I just feel, I stand to be corrected, I feel is about bad governance and the fact that the citizens, you know, have to suffer on this. And apparently it's a problem of, you know, also bad leadership, not just bad governance, which is also in terms of corruption, you know, corrupt citizens. The question I actually want to put out there quickly because of time is the fact that when did this train actually start working, Marshall? The second is that when did they actually you know, rescue our rail transport, you know? And why is it that Nigerians, you know, we sabotage ourselves or against our own progress and prosperity? Because it is sad that some vandals are in the business of stealing steel tracks, you know. And I'm wondering, for how long do we want to keep shooting ourselves in the leg? We keep complaining about the government, government is not doing enough or whatever, or they are not, they are supposed to be doing this, and yet, and our own people are still damaging our properties. And I feel that those are some of the challenges that we are facing right now. And at the moment, I just wonder that some things happen at the Abuja Stadium. Some things happen at the Abuja Stadium when Nigerians lost the to the qualifiers. And I'm wondering, why do our people want to actually continue to destroy our properties? I feel that we are the problems. You know, we are very hypocritical, and that is the reason why I feel change must come into play fast. And the fact that people keep vandalizing things, you know, I feel that they need to stop, because very soon it will cost us the lives, the lives of our loved ones. And hence the reason why I keep asking people that when you point fingers at one person, remember the four fingers are coming back to you, or they are pointing back to you. And it's unfortunate I cannot take the submission of my guests, but on this note, I want to thank my resourceful guests for, you know, joining us live on today's show, courtesy, of course, our SAN Festus Kiyamo, you know, for throwing light on quite a number of issues that are out there. I'm hoping that God's wisdom will abide with you as it progresses with the party election come 2023. Indeed, we've had an awesome time. Many thanks also to my co-host Marshall. It's been an interesting time with you. I think that's where we end the show by now. Wow.